gonna have to be real mature about the name of this one, okay? I present to you The Hard Nut. The Hard Nut is a 1992 adaptation of the Nutcracker ballet set in a retro 2D version of the 50s. The costumes all follow the fashion of the times, and the character designs have this exaggerated pop art quality to them that really adds to the feel. The music is still the same, and although the dance moves themselves have a bit of a modern flair at times, it is still very much a ballet. What really makes this one stand out to me is what they have chosen to do with the second act. You see, the first act follows all of the plot beats that we have come to expect from this piece. There's a Christmas gathering at the Stahlbaum house, Drosselmeyer shows up with fantastical gifts, he gives Marie the Nutcracker doll, Marie admires it intensely, the party ends and everybody goes home, Marie shrinks down, the rats attack, the Nutcracker defeats the Rat King, the curse is broken, and the snowflakes play us off as the curtains roll. But while the Nutcracker is battling the Rat King, Marie delivers her trademark slipper attack and then passes out. Instead of being taken to some Candyland or magical realm in the second act, she is actually placed upon a couch to recover, and Drosselmeyer comes to tell her the story of the Nutcracker Prince, who is really just his handsome nephew who's under a terrible curse. From this point on, we follow the story of Drosselmeyer and the Nutcracker. The magician must search the world for a hard nut, hence the title, to cure the curse of a princess, and when he finds the nut, it turns out his nephew is the only one who can crack it. But he kills the Rat Queen and becomes cursed in the process. This is the short story, the tale which inspired the original ballet. The idea of integrating this narrative into the second act works so beautifully that I feel like it elevates the original to a new standard of storytelling. Although I like Tchaikovsky's second act more than the first, thanks to the wider variety of dances on display, it is rather lacking in plot. All you do is follow Marie's point of view as she watches a bunch of people dance around. But here, the moves and beats of the second act are reimagined as part of Drosselmeyer's story, meaning you still get to see all of that amazing dancing, but with more stakes behind it. For example, while in the original ballet you see shorter dance numbers representing different corners of the world under the guise of watching the candies from each country do a little performance for Marie, here they represent Drosselmeyer's journey across the globe in search for the nut, and they even add a new country to the mix. It brings the context and story of the short tale into the ballet in a level that the original had not, which is not a fault of the original by any means, but it is a thoughtful and well-executed addition. This ballet makes it very clear that the Nutcracker is Drosselmeyer's nephew, which leads me to one of my favorite bits from this piece. After the Rat King is defeated and the curse is lifted, the Nutcracker shares a wonderful slow dance sequence with Drosselmeyer, not with his newfound love interest. To me, this touches upon an aspect of the story that I don't see a lot of adaptations dealing with, which is that Drosselmeyer essentially lost his nephew to the curse. Out of everyone involved, the magician should be the one that's most invested in getting him back to normal, and one of the people who would rejoice the hardest seeing his nephew back as his handsome human self. The dance between them is delicate and intense, almost as if Drosselmeyer is guiding him, teaching him the ways of humanity after his nephew has been out of touch with it for so long. I love it that the two of them get this moment, and their familial bond is shown to be just as strong as it is sincere. Another bit I deeply enjoyed was at the end, once Drosselmeyer is done telling his tale and Marie has fully recovered from the battle. Even though she didn't really do anything, she just kind of passed out there. The girl and the nephew meet again, but their dancing is cautious and individual. It's supposed to be their moment to shine as a couple, but they aren't truly together yet. They are getting to know each other, which is clear thanks to the way they each pause while the other dances, as though learning the way the other moves, and tentatively join together only to pull themselves apart again. It is only after this entire performance, which is joined by the dancers from all other moments in the show, representing the many events that led to the meeting between the two, that Marie and the nephew are ready to perform together, and their waltz becomes much more involved and intimate, with several passionate kisses sprinkled throughout. It's the story of them actually falling in love, and this ballet depicts it not as a one-time spark, but as an entire process, which makes the moment they finally come together all the more fulfilling. During the interlude between the first and the second act, we get a bit of an explanation on what we are about to see, and there's this bit right here that I can't get out of my head.
This is a love story between two people, but it's also about the love that's already in the world. In other words, you can search and search for the thing you want, and then you find it waiting for you back home. You just didn't recognize it before. You had to grow up.
What a stellar interpretation of the story, and you can see how it inspired every aspect of this adaptation. This ballet knows exactly what it wants to do, and does it with excellence. I do feel like watching the original Tchaikovsky ballet and reading the short story add to this viewing experience, just because of how much this one pulls and plays around with both versions of the tale. Either way, it's amazing and I love it. The nut may be hard, but it ain't hard to love the nut.